Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Our friend Susie Joseas, and she just wrote a very important book for people out there, and it's a very important subject, so I wanted to have her on a guest of the show. So Susie, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody about your book?
Thank you very much, Paul. I really enjoyed being here. I wrote a book called Healing Bipolar and Depression. I wrote this in lieu of the fact that a lot of people are suffering, and we need to address the way we're thinking about this. I was told for many years that the only way I could take care of the bipolar and depression that I suffered was through medications and through therapy. And so having been on medication for over 20 years and having had extensive psychotherapy, I recognized that there was and is another way. From this book, I'm coming from my own personal testimony and how I have overcome this living hell, and I want to share and provide hope and encouragement to others who are struggling. My bipolar started when I was 18 years old, and I had 6 people die within 1 year, and it was intense emotional stress. I had, prior to that, had 10 root canals and 10 caps done on my teeth, which was an intense chemical stress as well as a physical stress. When I speak of health, I recognize that the lack of health comes from stress, whether it be chemical, emotional, or physical. And in my book, I'm talking about a simple equation for whole health. We refer to whole health as not just physical health, but health in all dimensions of our life, whether it be through, we use the acronym God Blesses Me, and Blesses Me stands for body, labor, emotions, spiritual, social, emotions, and then with mental and everyday disciplines. I'm leaving out one of the S's, and you can find that in the book. What I want to share today is that the whole health journey is a process, and it's not to be taken lightly. And I would never come on a program like this and suggest that anybody should get off their medications, especially abruptly. Now, like I said, I have been off all medications for the past 10 years, haven't even had so much as an aspirin, which is a miracle in itself because I had doctors tell me over and over again that I would need to be on medication for the rest of my life. It's just been a very humbling and awesome experience, and the raw foods have been a contributing factor to all of the life-giving decisions that I've been making the past 10 years that have brought me thus far. By the grace of God, it's been really sweet, and I've gone through an extensive amount of healing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, you spoke about the drugs. I know a lot of people who have bipolar and depression, and I just saw a wonderful DVD about how doctors just prescribe drugs immediately and so much and too much, and there's so much toxic effects to that. But some people really do need some of these medications, but not as many as they're prescribing. But what would your advice be to somebody who went to a doctor, the doctor told them they need medication, they're on medication now? How would you recommend they start to first see if they need the amount they're getting, and then what they can do to start reducing it?
Well, obviously, if we choose to go to a professional healthcare practitioner, then we need to respect the advice and their wisdom that they offer. Now, I personally challenged the recommendations that were given to me, and I am not recommending that you do that. What I recommend is that you continue to educate yourself and partake in the knowledge of other people who have successfully been able to get off medications or have healed themselves in other capacities, whether it be cancer or like Paul with his intestinal successes. We have to humble ourselves in recognizing that there's a lot to learn, and we'll make mistakes. We just don't want them to be deadly mistakes. And if someone's suicidal and someone is in a dangerous or precarious situation, they're not getting enough sleep, and there may definitely be a need for medications. And praise God that there might be something to reduce those deadly symptoms. So we have to be really respectful of this whole mental health arena because we are talking life or death. And obviously, if you or your family member has sent you to a professional healthcare professional, there is room there to respect what is being advised to you. And so even if you have to have, if it's an opportunity where medications are needed on a temporary basis, to go ahead and to calm those symptoms may be a true blessing because you're dealing with the brain. It's not like dealing with another organ. So your thinking might be off. And so if the medications would help to ground you on a temporary basis, that might be just the thing you need to be able to read a book to start educating yourself on the healing processes and how to get out of this mess.
Wonderful.
Does that make sense, Paul?
Wonderful. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your book. Hold it up here and tell people exactly what they're going to benefit from it and how they can get the copy.
Well, I made this book really simplified. It's only got about 100 pages on it. People have said to me that it's really easy to read. What I've done is I've divided it up into 4 sections. The first section is just pretty much letting people know that I was truly sick. A lot of times people will say, well, gosh, if she has bipolar, she has it for the rest of her life. And so what I wanted to do is convey the message that indeed I was very, very sick and that I did have a major mental illness. The second section is talking about the difference in allopathic medicine versus natural health and natural hygiene. And so it begins to introduce a paradigm shift that you can be aware of, noticing that we've been very indoctrinated to think that if we're sick or something's wrong, we go to a doctor and we take medication and that's going to make us well. Well, to the contrary, I found that following that advice that I got very sick and was getting more and more sick, continuing down that allopathic journey. So with that said, my third section of the book deals with a simple equation. We say that whole health is nothing really but the components of health, and I discuss the components in health in some detail, minus the stress, whether it be chemical, emotional, or physical stress, creates that whole health that I spoke of all the dimensions of how God blesses me in that acronym.
All right, Susie, that's great information, and people really need to get this book. Please tell us, anyone knowing somebody who's suffering from the bipolar and or depression or any other mental illnesses or challenges, how can they get this important book, and how can they get in touch with you if they have any questions pertaining to this issue?
The best and most reliable way is to go through our website at lifelearningministries.org. The book also can be ordered through other modalities like Amazon.com, and our publisher is authorhouse.com. In the back of the book, we do discuss Blessings Farm, and our telephone number is in the back, and you are free to give me a call after you've read the book, and perhaps that would answer your questions initially.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, everybody. This is Paul Neeson with Susie Joseas, and wonderful book research, important information that needs to get out there, and she's a living proof that it can be done. So any closing words to the crowd, Susie?
It's just a real pleasure, and I appreciate what you're doing through your networking there, and I thank you, Paul.
Well, thank you very much, and have a great day and a great raw life.
You do the same.
Okay, bye now.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.